Awesome. Okay, so we're just going to jump right in. This is an amazing topic we're going to talk about tonight, launching new distributors. We just had like an absolutely insane, incredible deal where so many people brought in new team. And what I love about times like this is it's not just your leaders, it's not just people who've, been around a little bit. We had an awesome promotion that allowed someone who was brand new to still sign new team. And I know that can be such a big fear when you're getting started of like, okay, I'm still new. How am I supposed to help someone else start their business when I'm just learning? And so we wanted to take a little bit of time tonight and go over that. A couple of different systems. We'll do the way I launch distributors, as well as Courtney and Brittany if she's able to hop on. And so we're just go ahead to Courtney, if you want to unmute yourself and just give us a quick rundown of who you are, how long you've been in the business, all of that, and then just jump on in.
Hey guys. Oh my gosh. I'm so excited to do this tonight. It's been quite a while since I've trained on something like this. I'm usually like your hype girl that's just like yelling at you and getting you going. So to like physically train on something is super fun for me. So for those of you who don't know who I am, my name is Courtney Gretza. I've been in the business for almost 5 years. It'll be 5 years next month, which I figured that out the other day and I was like, what just happened? Like, I feel like I've only been in for a year, but it's been almost 5 years and I've been through a lot of life in this. So I started when I was 21 and drowning in credit card debt. And now fast forward, I'm married and with a baby on the way. And it's just like so crazy how life changes. Like I moved to across the country, I paid off all my debt. Like so much has happened since I started this business. And it's just done so much for Matthew and I. So I am super excited to teach you guys about this because it's one thing to sign distributors, but it's another thing to know how to train them so that they can work, right? And I'm going to tell you right now, I'm not an expert at this. I don't have a perfect system that I'm like, oh my gosh, every distributor I signs 12 customers right away. Like everyone gets it. This is great. That doesn't happen, okay? But I have learned a lot of things over the years. So the number one thing that I'm going to tell you guys is kind of annoying. Okay. I'm just going to tell you it's not the most fun thing. Every day for at least the first week, no matter what, even if they don't respond, you're going to send them a post every single day and say, hey, girl, I wanted to just check in. Here's a post I want you to put up today. Let me know once you post it. Okay. Every single day. I have had people where it's just 7 posts in a row because they don't answer me, and that's okay. But I never want someone's excuse of why they quit to be, I didn't know what to post. I didn't know what I was doing. So this is not something I enjoy doing. And I have let myself get away from it many times. And every time I'm like, gosh, darn it, why did I stop doing this? Because then people fall off and people don't do anything. And then they get frustrated because if they don't get a win, and you guys, when I say they don't get a win within their first 24 hours, I'm not saying they have to sign a 200 BV customer. I'm saying if they don't see a comment or a like in their first 24 hours, they're out. They're just done. Okay, so you need to be sending them. I send them my best post day one, instantly, because I want them to see, hey, you have people interested. Okay, so that's what I do. I have 7 posts right now that are like my top 7 product posts that work really well for me. And I have that from one of my uplines that she has those written out. And it's just, that is what I send them for the first 7 days. Now, I know some of you are like, okay, so do they only post once a day for the first 7 days? Some people, yes. Some people, if they're overwhelmed by that post, we're not going to push them. But you're going to find those people that are like, okay, I did that. What now? Okay, I did that. What's next? Okay, what about this? What about this? What else can I do? So kind of play it by ear. You're going to have those people who are just like, okay, so how do I copy this paste, like post? How do I put it up? How do I do this? How do I do that? And it's okay that it's going to take some people longer. But those people that you send them a post and they're like, okay, what else can I do? Run with them. Don't be afraid to overwhelm them because they will tell you, hey, I'm overwhelmed. What the heck was that? But you also don't want to bore people because if you sign someone like Mariah who took off running and you were like, okay, here's a post, don't do anything else today, she'd be like, what? You want me to just put up one post today and that's it? I'm bored. Like I need something else. So kind of figure out like, you know what, like how people say like play it off of their energy or like feel what they're feeling. Do it that way. So you'll know when to give someone more and when to not give them as much. So just be really in tune with that and kind of see how they're feeling. So that's my first thing is sending posts daily. Second thing, it's uncomfortable, but hop on FaceTime or Zoom with them. 5 to 10 minutes. It doesn't need to be a 3-hour long conversation about what they ate for dinner when they were 12 years old. Okay. It does not need to be very intense, but hey, so like guys, give a 2-minute story. Like, oh my gosh, I'm so excited for you. I wanted to tell you a little bit about myself because you and I met on Facebook. So you have no idea who the heck I am. You probably thought I was some robot. Like, make a joke of it because everyone thinks that, right? Like everyone's like, are you a real person? Okay. To give them a little bit of your story. Okay. So I tell them, okay, I started 4.5, I kept saying 4.5 years ago, but now I'm going to say 5 years ago. 5 years ago, when I was 21 and I was drowning in credit card debt. Fast forward to now, I've paid off all my credit card debt, retired myself, retired my husband, moved across the country, did this, that, and that, right? And then I say, I don't say all this to brag about how cool I am and how awesome I am, but I want you to know what you can do with this business. And then I ask them, tell me a little bit about you. And if I could like wave a magic wand that could make your dreams come true, what do you want this business to accomplish for you? And right there, you will see how big they dream. Some people will say, hey, I just want like a little help paying groceries. Some people are like, I want to quit my job. I want a lakefront house. I want a yacht in the Atlantic Ocean with a butler. Like, you're going to see people dreaming, and you're going to see people that are like, I just want to pay for Starbucks once a week. And either way is okay because this person who's like, give me a yacht, they're ready to go. But this person needs you more than you know. They need you to believe in them because they don't believe in them. So you know this person needs you in their corner. Okay. So that FaceTime is super important. And then I just say like, hey, what questions do you have for me? I know when I started, I was super overwhelmed and afraid to ask questions. What questions do you have? And then I just walk them through like, hey, do you know what your website is? Cool. Are you understanding how to post? Cool. Have you checked out eSuite? Have you checked out the training page? Do you have any questions about this? And then just kind of play it by ear. I will warn you, there are going to be some people that you just connect with and it's like a 45-minute call and you're like, okay, well, that was not what I planned. Sorry about that. But you are going to have those people that are just like, hey, here's what you want to know about me. Great, cool, let's get off. So, but that's just a great way because it builds that relationship between you and that person. It's not just a screen. Now they know your face. Now they know your voice. Now they know your sense of humor, right? Like me, I think I'm funny all the time. 99% of the time, people don't laugh at me, but I laugh at myself. And they're like, okay, so you're just dumb. Like you just laugh at yourself about nothing. You think you're funny. So you make it not, because here's the thing, you never want it to feel like boss and employee. You never want it to feel like they're answering to you. Like they have to like figure out like, oh, I have to be really respectful and like be very professional. No, like you come as you. You want to come as a hot mess, not brushing your hair in 4 days, girl, me and you together. Okay. Like that's fine. But if you like, it's okay to be like, here's what I want to say about this. Don't make yourself get all dolled up. Don't go do your hair and makeup and look like this perfect person with like it work stuff on. Y'all, I was on one, I don't know, a week or two ago. My hair, I don't think I brushed it in like 3 days. You don't know, my pregnancy was like rough. My energy level was like negative 6,000. So I didn't even brush my hair. It looked like I got punched in the face. My dark circles were so bad. My hair, like my shirt had dog hair all over it. And I'm like, hey, I'm just coming at you with real life. Like I did not want to get ready today. Didn't want to brush my hair today. So like, this is what you get. And that's okay. So first, send post daily. Second, FaceTime or Zoom with them within the first couple days. Okay. You're going to have some people that are hesitant and you're like, girl, I know it's weird. Like, I know we don't want to just FaceTime, especially because we all look like hot messes, but just give me like 5 minutes. I just want to get to know you. Okay. Most people will. There are going to be some people that are like not comfortable with it and don't force them. Like, don't, but you know, okay. Anyways, the third thing, figure out what their why is. But here's what I want to preface this with. Don't message them and say, what's your why? They're going to be like, I don't know what you're asking me, because that's our language and it works, right? Like we know, okay, what's your why? We know what you're asking. But if you go up to a person on the street that said, hey, what's your why for working? They're going to be like, to make money? Like, what do you mean? Like, I don't understand what you're asking me. So try to figure out those questions, and it can be on your FaceTime. It can be just through messages, just ask them like, hey, why did you start doing this business? Like, what do you want it to do for you? And what I want, like how I figure out what their actual why is ask them why 5 times or what or how, right? So if they're like, why did you start? And they're like, for money. Okay, well, what's the money going to do for you? Well, I want to put my kids in private school. Okay, well, why? Because I want them to have a better education. Okay, why? Because I didn't. So I want to give them a better life. So you're getting deeper for them to feel something, right? because you want to have that connection. So when they come to you next week and they're like, oh my God, I posted 4 times, no one bought anything yet, and I think I fail at this and I'm just done. You can say, okay, well, do you still want to put your kids in private school? Like, is that still important to you to give them a better life than you had? No one's going to be like, no, I don't care about that anymore. Right? So, but if you're just like, okay, I understand, because you don't know their why, you don't know why they started, it's a lot harder to get people to stay. Right? Like for me, and the thing is, not everyone's why is their kids. When I started, I didn't have kids. I didn't even have a boyfriend. I had a whole lot of nothing but credit card debt. Okay. That's all I had. That's all I had. And it's like, if you would have said, oh, well, what about your family? I'd be like, what family? My parents? They're fine. What do you mean? What family? So don't just assume their why is your why. But if you came to me and you're like, okay, well, are you having fun not paying your credit card bills every month? Seeing your credit score tank? Is that fun for you? I would have been like, oh, shoot, fine. Okay, great. Yep, here we go. We're going to keep going. So figure out what that why is. And the last thing, hold their hand through host to post. Okay. I don't care if you have to go over it 65 seconds every single minute, right? Like more time than you have. Okay. I don't care if you have to take them 6 months to figure out what host to post is, because as a leader, host to post is what's going to get you customers. Host to post is what's going to grow your network. Host to post is what's going to get you distributors. Host to post is what's going to get you interaction, right? Host to post does everything. So if we can get them understanding host to post, the basics of it, and then just continually make them get it more and more, you're not going to have to worry about them, right? Because put a 1 in the chat that if you're like, if my people would just do 15 host to posts a day like I do, we'd all have customers and I'd be freaking ambassador diamond by now, right? Like we're like, great, that'd be wonderful. But most of the time what we do is we're like, okay, put this giveaway post up, and then it gets 4 comments and then only 1 person posts, and you're like, well, I don't know, giveaway posts work for me, so I don't know what to tell you, right? Because we have bigger networks. We have done this. So we have to say, okay, your giveaway post didn't do well. Let's try to message this. Okay, that didn't do well. Let's try to do this. Are you adding friends? Are you interacting? Okay, why don't you ask your mom to put up this post for you? Okay, why don't you put this post on your husband's page? Try to figure it out. Try to troubleshoot it. Don't just be like, oh, okay, there's one thing I tried with you doesn't work. Yeah, man, you're destined to fail. Like you're just screwed, girlfriend. Like, I don't know what to tell you. Right? But if we just give them one thing and it doesn't work and we're like, okay, well, let's try something else, they're gonna be like, okay, cool, host to post isn't for me. So don't be afraid to walk them through everything, and like 100 times. Okay, because if you're, put a 2 in the chat if you're a red. If you're a red. I am a very strong red. Now red does not necessarily mean like rude and like intense and in your face and yelling at you, but red means I will figure it out myself. I don't need you to hold my hand. In fact, don't hold my hand because you're going to annoy the crap out of me. Like, just leave me alone. I'll figure it out. Okay. 99% of people that join your team as a red are going to be a yellow. Everyone's a yellow that joins reds. I don't know why. I don't know why it's a thing, but a lot of yellows join reds. Here's the thing. If you do not hold a red's or yellow's hand through host to post, they're not going to do it, because they're not going to want to come to you and say, hey, I don't understand this. Can you explain it? Because they're going to feel like they're bothering you. Okay. Even though for me, I'm like, girlfriend, I did everything on YouTube, 2 a.m. YouTube, how to do host to post, how to sign a customer, how to do this, how to do that. Because I was red. I am a red. I figured it out. Charting, figured it out myself. I didn't ask anyone for help, because reds, if you have reds don't want to ask you for help because they feel stupid for asking for any help. But you have to understand that not everyone's going to be like you, especially if you're someone who just figured it out, right? Especially if you're someone who had it explained once and you're like, okay, cool, totally get the concept, done, got it, we're good, right? Like we all have those people who just, you're like, okay, here's host to post, and they're like, cool, I get 10 up a day every day, no problem. Not everyone's like that, and that's okay. Some people need you to hold their hand through every single conversation. They're going to get screenshots. They're going to ask you the same question 40 million times. And as a red, you're going to be like, I've answered this 40 million times. You still say this, but they need that. Or you're going to have a green who's going to join and be like, but what if this happens? What if this post comes up? What if someone says this? What about this? What about this? How do I keep track of this? Where do I put this? How do I enter people? Right? You're going to have those people. And you're going to have blues that are like, when's the giveaway? Do I get entered? Do I get an entry for anything? So you have to keep it interesting. So for blues, here's what I want you to do for blues, because blues want to have fun, right? You're like, okay, here's the deal. We're going to race to see who can get up 10 host to host like right now. And if you beat me, I'm sending you $5 to get yourself a coffee. Okay. Right. So that is fun. They're like, oh, cool. Like, let's do this. And you're just going to chat back and be like, I just got one. And then I got two. Oh, you still got zero. All right. I got three. You're making it fun for them. So figure out what that person needs. And you guys, like I said, this is something I'm still working on. This is something that is very hard for me because, and I was just talking to one of my uplines about this. I'm like, I just want everyone to be like me. I just want everyone to just get it. I want everyone to just like take off and just like figure out their own stuff when they want to figure it out and just go. And she's like, yeah, that's not going to happen. And just the other week, I got to a point where I was like, okay, it's fine. Not everyone's going to do what I do. So you just have to understand that everyone needs something different and kind of feel them out. If you don't have people do the color personality test, that's another awesome thing. If like the more you work with color personalities, you don't really need the test anymore because you can tell how they talk, what color they are. But if you're new to the color personality, have them take the test. Figure out what color they are. Figure out what they need. What's going to fill their cup. Do they need to know, oh my gosh, you're doing awesome? Or do they need a kick in the butt because they're red? Do they need a competition? Do they need more details? What do they need? So figure that out. And I think that's all I got. If I think of anything else, I'll unmute myself, but I think we're good. That was very long-winded. I'm sorry.
That was fantastic. Absolutely amazing. And there's so much goodness in that. If you got something out of that, guys, drop like a 3 in the chat. I'm not sure what number we're on. Thank you so much, Courtney, for hopping on here. I love hearing so many different people's, or just anyone really, like someone else's view when it comes to starting newbies, because I love it because there's no right or wrong when it comes to this. It's so, I think the importance comes in the fact that you're taking the time with them. So often we'll just bring someone in and be like, okay, I signed a distributor, but it's so much more than that. We want to bring them in, and then we want to take care of them, and we want them to find this place as home the same way we have. And that does come with taking the time out of our day to train them well. And so I'm going to go ahead and bring Brittany on. Lord Jesus, guys, if you are a mom, drop a 4 in the comments. Brittany hopped on a little late. She is having potty issues over here. So bless your soul, sweetheart. I'm going to let you have that one.
Right. Can I say something real quick that I forgot?
Yeah.
Okay, the last thing that I want to say, you guys, I'm sorry. If you're brand new and you sign someone brand new during this sale, message your upline and say, hey, I signed someone and I want to make sure I help them, but I don't know what the heck I'm doing. So don't feel like you have to figure it out yourself, because that was something that I never did, is I just was like, all right, I'm going to figure out how to train people. But if I went to my upline a lot earlier, I'd have a lot more people working. So don't be afraid to go to someone and be like, I need you to help me. And that's okay.
Oh yeah, definitely. Layered leadership. We all want to be here to help. And whether that is helping you help someone or helping someone ourselves, like 100% your upline is always going to be there to assist you through every single conversation, whether it be with distributors, customers, all of that. So definitely take the time to ask them. So Brittany, if you want to unmute yourself, jump in and just give us all the deets on how you launch your new distributors.
Okay, hi. Side note, you can be a total hot mess and still do fine. It has been a crazy day. We had my daughter's dance pictures, so we had that, and then she was so tired from it, you guys, that she just went and passed out and just like pottied everywhere. It was a hot mess, but we're here, we're ready. She's clean. Okay. So this was something, you guys, training distributors, that for me was always such a hard thing. Like, I never really had a system in place. So if you don't have a system in place, that's one thing that I highly suggest that you figure out, whether that is something that they already said. Sorry, it wasn't on. So I don't know what they said. We might repeat a lot of things. But for me, it was something that, like, I just wanted to get customers in, because I could easily see, like, okay, 30 volume done, 30 volume done, 100 volume done. Like, I was seeing that actual progress versus putting distributors in the system. And I'm like, nothing is happening. Like, I'm signing them, but like, that's not affecting my business. Right. So for a long time, I was like, I'm just a great customer enroller. I can enroll customers. The people that come in, if they want it, then they'll kind of figure it out. But for me, what really changed my business was when I started to figure out those kinds of systems. And you guys, side note, my system has changed 1,000 times, you know, as you continue with the business, things are going to change. People are going to change. You're going to change. That's okay. But I think just as long as you know what you're doing when you bring people in, that's what's going to be the ticket. So for me right now, you guys might hear me in 2 months and I might say something completely different. But for me right now, what I'm doing is I'm using our team training board. So your uplines, I'm sure, have something similar. If not, the company does. So there's a 30-day boards system that you can use. I have one very similar that I use for my team. And basically, you guys, I do that one-on-one. I wake up every single day and yay, Alexandria, I wake up every single day and I make sure that I do my self-development and then at least 1 hour of my work time. So I don't message my team. I don't do any kind of training. I don't do anything at all until I know that I'm going to have a positive day and that I've gotten some of my work done. And that makes me feel better about being able to help my team, right? If you can help yourself, you can help your team. So after I've done my little thing, yes, love it. After I've done my little thing, I make sure that I message at least 3 people that day. So like people on my team, right? So it's either people that I'm training or it could be somebody that I want to just reconnect with. If I have a bunch of people that I'm training at the time, of course, that's who I'm going to be messaging. But what I do is I go in and I see, okay, where did we end our conversation? If they are on day 2 and they haven't messaged me back, I'm not going to go ahead and send them day 3. I'm going to make sure that they understood day 2 and we're going to go from there. So sometimes you guys, people get in and they'll do like day 1 through 30 in like 7 minutes, and that's fine. Sometimes they get in and they spend like 2 weeks on day 2. You know, I just go with what they're doing. So I don't necessarily pay attention to the days. I just pay attention to where they are. Something else, and you can stop me at any time. I'm just kind of going with it. Okay. So something else that I do is I make sure that within 48 hours of signing them that I'm doing some type of face-to-face, whether it's a face call, a Zoom, whatever it is, because I want them to know that I'm a real person. And if something were to happen, like just now with Berkeley, I'm still going to get on with them, you guys, because I want them to know that I'm human. I'm going to, you know, have issues going on, just like I'm sure they are too. Like, we want this business to be a lifetime business. So I don't know anybody's life who's perfect, right? So even if things are crazy, I'm still going to get on and just talk with them. A lot of times we've already started our training. So like, I don't really have anything businessy to say, but I just want to say, hey, does everything make sense so far? Like, I'm so excited. We're going to go ahead and work on your shopping spree, like X, Y, and Z. I just want to give them some kind of goal. So I'll talk to them about their shopping spree, see how they are. Like Courtney said, I'm going to try and figure out like what their color personality is. If I don't know yet, that's okay. We're going to figure it out as we go. But I make sure that I'm doing that. And then something else that I love doing, you guys, is just keeping things so positive. So when I started my Going Ruby chat, which obviously it was not Ruby yet, I was like hounding my team, right? I was like, why is nobody responding? Why is nobody, like, who wants money? I was doing all these things, and that put such a negative vibe on my team. Like, nobody wants to work like that, right? So I switched my mindset for that, and I do that now in my training too. So even if you guys, they've gotten up one story, I'm like, yes, you are killing it. You're doing so good. Like, I just want them to know that I'm so proud of them for doing that, you know, because a lot of times people are super nervous to even put a post up, right? Like, I want them to know that I'm just so proud of them. So I make sure to give compliments all the time. Communication. So even though I'm using my boards, I still want to make sure that I'm sending voice messages, and, you know, checking in with them frequently, because I want them to know I'm a real person. Like, yeah, I'm going to be sending you training scripts, but like, I want you to hear my voice and how excited I am for you too. Everything good? I feel like I'm just like, okay. So the
next girlfriend.
Okay. I also talk really fast, which my team knows, but I'm like, it's just not going to come. But what I do after my 30 days of training, after that, I put my personally enrolled people who are completely done with their 30 days. The first thing I do is I will connect them to their second person, whether that is, their ruby, their emerald, just really whoever I feel comfortable with placing them or like having that layered leadership, basically, I'll connect them. And then the second thing I do is put them into a personally enrolled Ruby chat. And in the Ruby chat, I basically just give them like 3 to 5 tasks a day. Sometimes I'll do like the poll option and I'll just say, okay, get this post up, send this message to 20 people, whatever it is. Sometimes it's like a challenge to go live, or sometimes, guys, like if I've noticed that the people in that chat are like phasing out a little bit, I'll give them a specific post and say, okay, go post this, let me know when you're done, because I just want to give them some fire back, and really just guide them to Ruby. So after they go to Ruby, they go to an Emerald chat and all the way to Diamond. So I do that all the way through. And then the second part of that is just making sure that, like, I think Morgan says this, but like they never hit their goal without another goal. So if they're in the Ruby chat and they're almost at Ruby, I'm like, okay, when you hit Ruby, I'm adding you into the Emerald chat. Go ahead and pull out an Emerald chart. Even with shopping spree, I'll make sure that they're getting their shopping spree. And before, like on customer 4 or 5, I'm like, okay, you're going to go ahead and need to pull out a Ruby chart because we're going to start working on that next. The only thing I wanted to say, unless you guys have questions, is just keeping track of fast start bonuses and cabs if you're a diamond and above. So if I sign somebody up, I have my chart on my iPad. I used to have it hanging on my wall. So however you do it, paper, digital, whatever, I have that. And then right next to that, I always have just a list of people that I'm signing up. And if you're diamond and above, your team is signing up, because you don't want to miss out on that extra money. And then that also keeps me on track with like who I need to be working with. If I see their name, I'm like, okay, I need to make sure this person's doing something, that they understand what's going on, that I can help them. And then of course, no money off the table. So hope that all makes sense.
I absolutely love that. So what are you doing to help your new distributors that are coming in that then sign new distributors? How are you kind of duplicating this whole process with them?
I basically just have them use the board. So I have on my team board, I have a training board. And so I know it sounds confusing, but you guys know board. So I hope it makes sense. But I have a training board on there. And so as soon as they sign their first distributor, I'm like, okay, we're going to go right back to exactly what I did with you. But if you have any questions, just like before, there, I'm having them screenshot me any comments and things like that. Like if they have questions with their distributor, screenshot me again. Like we're just going to keep going. So yeah, I hope that answers your question.
Yes, I love that. Thank you so much. I know things have been like a complete crazy mess today, but we appreciate you so much making the time to come out tonight and share with us. I just learned from both of you guys though, I've got to get on this whole business of doing more like FaceTimes and stuff. Okay, like I'm so hit and miss about it, but okay, I'm taking that away, writing it down. So it's so funny. I'm typically like a super red personality on every Zoom, but I feel like I came to this one with like the ounce of green I have is like all I brought. So I'm going to go very strategically through my system of how I launch distributors. So I think it's very important, first and foremost, the second you get that notification that you just had someone sign up and enroll, that you recognize that as their first win. I think this has been a really big game changer for launching distributors for me. That's so dang simple, is like the second I see the message, I'm going to message them before they have a chance to tell me that they signed up. I get straight in their inbox. I'm like, oh my gosh, like, do you realize how many people get to that screen and don't click the button? Like, don't actually start their business? Like, you're amazing. Like, you can do that. You can do anything. Like, you're about to be like a huge success. Like, I'm so proud of you already. And that just like makes them feel good, which is an amazing way to start this whole thing out. And it is so true. How many people do we have that we like send our website that never actually sign up? And so I always celebrate that as their first win. And I do a really quick explanation of how I'm going to train them. Again, just like Brittany was talking about, guys, Boards is a game changer. It took everything that everyone was already doing and made it so duplicatable. And I absolutely love that. I too have a training board that, again, that's how I duplicate my new distributors. Know to use the training board, and we walk through those same steps they used to launch their distributors. So I walk real quick through what training is going to look like. So I add them to the team pages, and I explain it's going to be just like playing ball. I'm going to throw you the ball, and then you've got to throw it back to me. At the speed you throw it back, that's the speed we're going to go together, because this is your business. You get to set the pace and you get to make the rules. So when you're ready to run or you're ready to walk, I'm going to match your pace and we're going to do this together. And I get kind of just right off the bat, it sets the, I don't know what word I'm looking for there, but it just gives them the, reality of, I'm going to do this with you, but I can't do it for you. It's going to be a process together, and puts, the urgency on them. They've got to do it next. And then I will explain how communicating with me is so important. I know it's super, like, if you guys have ever been new, okay, so that's every single one of us. We all felt like we were bothering our upline at some point. Like, I know I just asked 32 and 7 questions in the past 12 minutes, so you're probably bothered with me, and so I address it from the get-go. You can't bother me. Like, it's absolutely impossible. I'm here to help. Okay. I want all of your questions. If you stop asking me questions, I'm going to assume that you no longer like me, and I'm going to take it personal. So make sure you're going to keep in contact with me. Make sure you're going to keep asking those questions. That's what I'm here for. I also like to reiterate in the beginning that I'm a friend first. I think that's something that's huge, because building relationships with your new distributors, like, guys, people join for money. They stay for the relationships and the friendships they make. And so I real quick, how's your day going? Like, can I pray for you throughout our entire relationship? So from the get-go, I'm like, I'm your friend first. If there's ever anything that you need, anything you need to talk through, if life is happening to you, we're going to go through it all together, whether it's business or not. I'm in your corner. And I also find out their why. And just like Courtney was saying, you don't just ask, what's your why? Because they're going to say, I don't know what that is. So you prod and you probe and you ask the right questions. Why are you wanting to do this? What do you hope to accomplish? What is your, if nothing held you back, where do you see yourself in a few months? And that, again, just puts in your back pocket the fuel to their fire. When their fire starts dwindling, you have then the key to refuel it and to keep them going. So second, that's a lot for one, I know, guys. But so step 2, I get them off commission hold ASAP. I can't stand seeing commission hold in eSuite. I don't know why, it just annoys me. So we're gonna fix that, because you want to make your money. Like, you can't be ready to make money if you can't make the money. Commission hold, it's done. So then we move on, and I have them follow corporate leaders. So Mark, Cami, Pam, and Mike, and I add them to my team chat. I think it's super important to have team chats, no matter really what rank you are. The first team chat I made, I think, with just me, my husband, and my mother-in-law. So, that one was probably total fire, right? But I wanted to make sure I had a place where I got to develop my leadership. Yes, all of your uplines, I'm sure, have team chats, and that is an amazing resource. Don't forsake that. That's there for a reason. And you want your newbies to have as many connections as possible. So that is amazing. But you also want a place where you can be intimate within your team and help create those relationships and those bonds in a totally smaller and different setting. And so I think it's so important. All of my girls have their own little team chats, as well as our big one, where they can put, small announcements, or quick, we're gonna all hop on a Zoom real quick and check in, or share things at the beginning of the month, like charts, things like that. Just a little area where you can have no bounds and just talk freely. I'm in a smaller environment, and so I plug my girls in there and have them follow the top leader or top corporate people. I feel like I'm talking so fast, guys. I feel like everyone's talked fast, but I feel like I'm just going. This is what happens when I turn green. I got to spit it all out once, because it's a short-lived time frame, guys. Okay. So next, I have them download the apps. This is the whole span of my greenness, the fundamentals, the things we gotta get out of the way before we can do the fun stuff of making money. And so I have them go download the Connect app, the sampling app, Zoom, boards, and also subscribe to my YouTube channel. Our entire team does that. I've posted every training I've done for the past 3 years almost, plus every week I'm always updating that with new trainings. And so I've noticed that if I have my girls from the get-go, go ahead and subscribe to that. They're going and then watching some of those videos on their own. I'll send them a video later in training. They're like, oh yeah, I already watched that one. I'm like, yes, I love it. And so that just gives them another place to get additional resources, and can kind of get them on the idea that training doesn't always have to be done in person. It can be used, through YouTube as a resource. And I'm always, real quick to give them other leaders to follow later on as well. And I go over our meeting schedule real quick. The first day, I want you guys to know what we have for you each week. I know you may be working. I know you may have to babysit, or you watch the kids, or there's bedtime, or there's church. I get it. But just so you know, here's what our week looks like. Every day I run power hours. We have our team huddle once a week. We have our family call. We have, this, and this. This is what our general schedule looks like. You want to try to make it to these things if you can. And I think once I started adding that in, I started seeing newbies hopping on and plugging themselves in a lot quicker. I also reinforced the importance of staying plugged into our group chat. I'm always sharing tons of information in there, the Zooms I see coming up, power hours, all kinds of different things. And so I reinforce the idea of this is going to be an amazing community for you. So make sure you're staying plugged in. And if it ever gets too much, don't worry, you can just mute the chat. So you don't have to get the notifications while you're at work, but you can still be connected to all of that amazing information and those friendships as we're growing forward. Then I have them watch a really quick YouTube video that I made. It's about 10 minutes long with a couple of my leaders, just really going over hi, welcome to the team. This is kind of a real quick of what It Works is and what we're gonna do here. Once they finish that, I have them go put up their first post. I do not do posting except for this and host a post until after they've completely finished the training unit. And sometimes this is I love it because I've got my greens out there who are I know I should be posting, or my reds even who are I need to make money, I need to be posting. And I can use that as the urgency to finish training. As soon as we get through this training and as soon as you finish learning the tasks, we're going to go ahead and jump full force into posting. But I want you to be able to focus one thing at a time instead of getting overwhelmed. So I have them put up their first post. I just send them an outline with some blinks, and I'm put yourself into these spots, change up the emojis or the words as you go, send it to me and I'll look over it and we'll get it posted. Once they do that, we talk about their goals. Again, like Brittany was saying, it's so important to set a goal for them super early on. And so I'm our first goal is your steps to success. We're going to go ahead and get your 6 customers. We're going to get your shopping spree, and then we're going to complete the steps to success. This is something corporate's already put in place for us to help, launch our business to the top as quickly as we can. So this is going to be our first goal. I also then have them watch a YouTube video going over the basics. It's a little bit longer, 30 minutes, talks about all of the terms, like LC and HAP and HSN and all of these things, and goes over terms. It goes over what is posting and kind of what we post, what is host to post, and kind of how that works. So they get a quick overview, and we jump straight into host to post. And I think that's one of the biggest things that I've done with my team that makes a big difference with the new people. Again, like everyone said so far, is it's about getting those wins early. And so for me, that's host to post. If you can do host to post, you can do this business. You can sign distributors, and you can sign customers, and you can grow your network, and you can do all the things by learning this step first. And so I have them start off with host to post. I go over the fact there's 2 ways we can do this. We can post or we can message. So first we're going to go post, and I have them put up a post instead of the typical giveaway post where it's I don't know, drop your phone battery percentage for a chance to be entered in my giveaway. Instead of doing that, I have them put up something that says, I'm giving away $150 on Sunday. Who wants to be entered? Here's how to get entered. Like this post the status that's in the comments, tag me, and comment done. Let's see who wants an extra $150 this week. And then in the comments of that post on their page, I have them put a giveaway post there. So that, battery percentage, or what time do you see this post? So they go do this. It takes 2.2 seconds for them to post this and post the status in the comments. Then they come back to me, and we're going to go message 20 people with our Hey Girls and ask them to post. What I love about this is while we're messaging for host to post, the post on their page is getting host to post up for them. So as we're messaging, they're already getting pings on this post who are posting about the giveaway. And so we're messaging people, having them get up some Thermofite X post. Then we're going to turn around back on. We're going to have, a couple posts, maybe a lot of people who've posted about the giveaway on their pages, which are then going to have a bunch of comments for them to message about host to post. And so quickly, it helps get a lot of wins real fast. It helps them see, and kind of set the bar that we're going to get up 10 really quickly by doing this. You're going to have this working for you. You're going to be messaging these 20 people. And before you know it, you're going to have like 10 host to post up on day one. And so what that's doing is that's setting the bar as that's the norm. Instead of being like, okay, let's try to get a couple host to post up. And then, okay, now we want to make sure we're doing 10. Like, no, we just from the get-go, I'm going to teach you how easy we can make this process, and you're going to get 10 up today. And that builds so much confidence so quickly. And then if you guys know my host to post system at all, 2 days after someone posts, we always offer them a second entry. So those first people who posted about the giveaway, I'll have my girls message them 2 days later and have them go post about the products. And then the people who had posted about the products 2 days later, I'll have them message them and have them post about the giveaway. So within their, if they can do 10 posts on day one and day two, day three, they're again getting to see how easy it can be to get these posts up, because they're just going to re-message the people who've already done it for them. And so instead of bringing people in and being like, host to post is this big scary thing, okay, it's going to be difficult, but we're going to get there. It's making it so simple and building so much confidence of like, girl, this is going to be so simple. And it's going to completely change your business. This is going to be the thing that's going to get you that shopping spree. This is going to be the thing that's going to get you that, whatever it is their why was. And building the confidence from the get-go into host to post. It is my bread and butter. It is the most important thing in my business. And I want to establish it from the start. That is the most important thing in their business as well. I also have them watch a host to post video I have on YouTube. It's my entire system. It talks about how to use host to post to run your entire business, start to finish pretty much. And so I then have them watch that again to just reinforce the importance of this one thing. I make sure to tell them, if we can get this down, just the idea of it, there's nothing you can't do. And so from there, I will then take the next step and I will kind of, base it per person. My next step is to have them message their dirt list or their chicken soup list and ask their friends and family for product testers. But if I've got someone who's got a bunch of host to post up already, I'm going to completely skip this step. We don't need it. If I have someone who maybe hasn't gotten any comments or is having a hard time getting the host to post, we'll go ahead, we'll take the time to do this step, go ahead and test it out and see if we have a good warm market to start with. Because now at this point as a leader, I'm getting to see, one, she doesn't have a good market for host to post. So let's see if she's got a good warm market for this as well. She doesn't have a good warm market for people who want to buy. I know that as a leader, I've got to then help her grow her network exponentially, because what we're working with right now is going to tire her out and make her feel defeated. And so I get to recognize that just in 2 steps and be like, look, here's how we're going to avoid this pitfall before it even happens. And then let's see. Next, I have just go over the daily steps. Again, corporate's given us amazing tools. So we have the KPI checklist. I briefly talk about every task on there. I have them watch the last video I have for them that goes super in depth over the daily tasks, what they look like, and how to complete each of them. I think sometimes we get so hung up on being like, this is what to do, that we don't take the time to explain this is how to do it. Especially those of us who have been in for a little while. I feel like sometimes I'm like, oh, I should just be like, oh yeah, go add friends. You need to add 20 friends today. And then I forget that when I got started, if someone was like, go add 20 friends, I'd be like, but from where am I going to find 20 friends? I got like 2 friends. I'm pretty sure I'm already friends with them on social media. So like, where am I going to find 20 more? Like, you got to break it down. We want to keep things simple. And so I use this video to real quick go over all of those and like, we're going to send friend requests. This is how we're going to do it. We're going to go to your timeline and we're going to, XYZ. We're going to post. This is where you're going to find the resources. And here's a quick outline of how you're going to, get to the point of creating your own content. We're going to post in your stories. This is how you post in your stories, and just walking it through with them. And then I have 7 days of posts already created. I have 3 posts a day. I have this both in my boards app and on my team page. So no matter where they're at, they are going to be able to connect to this. And So once we've done, they've finished the video, we're gonna go to our graduation. Graduation is where I go tag them in this and I get them, make sure they're added to boards so they know where it's at. And I'm like, I want you to focus on getting consistent with host to post. Yes, we need a post. I'm gonna make it super easy. I already created your post this week. All 3 of them, you're gonna do 3 a day. So we get in the habit of it. We can see what you're gonna post, but I don't want you to worry about it. And I don't want you to think about it. I want you to focus on host to post. And so I have it so that they can be posting. They can see kind of what to post, the flow of how we're gonna post, but they don't have to think about it. They don't have to focus on it. They don't have to, anything. I may tell them to go, set reminders. I may set reminders and be like, okay, I'm going to go post. So let me go message all my newbies and make sure they put up their post for this afternoon or things like that. But I want them to be able to focus on host to post, not posting, but learn how to do it at the same time. My goal is to get their first 6 customers in that first week, if at all possible. So while they're doing host to post to get those 6 customers, they're also already posting to tap into their warm market as well. And then once that 7 days is ended, hopefully we've gotten those customers already in. Now I have a little bit more time to help coach them through what posting is and that kind of thing. Also during our graduation, I add them to the corporate systems board. If you guys, that is just such an amazing resource. I explained some of the tasks we've already done, but this is going to be 30 days of hand-holding, post, tips, tasks, all of it to help you get from where you're at today to Ruby at the end of the 30 days. And so that way we've gone through everything and then we're not letting them go. I know that was a big thing with my team. We were having a lot of issues of this like weird period of training to Ruby where it was kind of like, what do I do now? And so I love that corporate brought this out and completely took that, hole away. And it goes from you finish your training, cool, I've got 30 more days for you. Let's do this together. And I encourage them to stay connected. I do accountability polls in my team chat every single day in my newbie Ruby chat, where it's just, again, it's really just the KPIs and just a task list, like a poll in the chat, so everyone can be voting. Again, it's another way to celebrate them. I can see who did the task. I can go reach out and be like, oh my gosh, I saw you did all the tasks today. I'm so proud of you. And just another way to celebrate that. I said at the beginning, I think it's so important to remember that when it comes to new people, retention, training them well, all of it comes down to relationship. We can't see them as another box. We can't see them as, an annoyance. Let's be honest, okay? Especially if you guys are red. If you've got some greens out there who need 13 steps in advance and won't just do the dang thing you told them, it's super easy to take that, like, emotionally start getting like, oh, I don't want to deal with this. Like, trust me, I feel it sometimes. There's some days that I don't have the right mantle of grace here, okay? But it's so important to remember you're dealing with another you. And you want to take care of them the way you would want someone to take care of you when you were getting started. You want to help them and you want to put yourself in their place. Remember that you didn't know anything. Remember how scared you were, how unsure you were, how much you doubted certain things that your upline was telling you. And then remember that that's how they feel. And it's your job to give them the resources to be successful. It's not your job to make them successful. You can lead a horse to water, but you can't force them to drink. So it's your job to give them all the tools they need to be successful, to love them and encourage them and work alongside them. And hopefully they're going to jump in. And just because they don't jump in immediately, guys, that doesn't mean that we also write them off. You don't want to necessarily keep pouring yourself into someone for like 30 years if they're not doing anything, but you still want to be there for them. I mean, Courtney, it took her 2 years, I think. Something like that. Yeah. A hot minute before she actually got her business really going. And so sometimes it just takes someone a little bit to blossom in. The same with Brittany. It took her a little bit to get going and blossom in, and she's over here VIP. And so you don't want to give up on people, but you want to, make sure that you're giving them the tools and then supporting them on their own journey at their own pace. So let's see. I did have someone ask a question. So I'm gonna roll up real quick. Okay, when you have them post on their page about the initial giveaway, do you find a better response when they post it with a picture? I don't have them post it with a picture. I have them just put the words up. That's just because that's what I do. I'll do this at the end of the month. Personally, this is where I got the idea. I go on Facebook jail all the time. You guys know me. I live there. Hello. I am like the warden's best friend. And so at the end of the month, when I was pushing for promotions, I would I didn't know how to balance host to post and messaging and things. And so I would do this on my page so I could still get host to post up without having to message anyone. And it's just always really worked for me. I may change up and add emojis or change the words and stuff like that. And like, I'll also, as a leader, from a leadership side, I take the time to sorry, I got thrown off by the chat. But take the time to pay attention to the trends. If like I see something stop working, I'm going to find out what's going to work, and I'm going to make sure that I make that change in our training. Like I just changed the host to post I have our team put up, our newbies put up, because the one that they were doing, it wasn't working for me. So I had to find a new one. It's working for me. So I changed it in there as well. And so I'll go every couple of months and I'll change the emojis and things so that everyone's posting original content still, or things that aren't too worn out. I'll do the same with our 7 days of post. I'll go in there and I'll tweak them every couple of days or every couple of months. I'll add new posts, take some out, whatever's working, so that I'm making sure I'm giving them their best shot. Just like Courtney said, you don't wait to give them your best post. You give them your best post at the get-go, because you want them to get more results than you even. You want them to be freaking rocking it from the beginning. And I think, I don't remember who I heard say this, but it's something that really stuck out with me when it comes to signing distributors, is we have to pursue them as much once they join as we did to get them there. Like how many follow-ups have you done? Like, let's be honest. How many follow-ups before they join? Like I'm telling you, I've got people, I had a girl who joined for the $20. I followed up with her for over 2 years. Like I'm talking over 30 messages I've sent with like no response most of the time. And then, you know, if I'm going to do all that work to get her here, once she gets here, I got to then be able to duplicate that. I got to be able to be consistent with that. I still got to take care of with her. If she's not responding to me now, I took, 30 messages before when she wasn't responding to get her started. She did the hard thing. She's here. Now she's even more my responsibility. I've got to be willing to take the same time and effort to connect with her now that she's in the system, now that she has a business and is working towards it. And I don't know, I just think that's so important. I was also on a leadership call 2 years ago, probably, with Tiffany Her, and she was talking about as a leader, don't be so like high and mighty to think that you can't do things that are uncomfortable and take like extra time for your team. And she talks about, she would message if she saw someone who wasn't posting or wasn't getting something, instead of like getting frustrated, and she was like, I would just message them and ask them what's going on. Like, hey, I haven't seen you posting in a little bit. Like, are these things busy? Like, do you want me to start sending you more posts? Like, will that help? Like, oh, I haven't seen, your friend, back when like you could actually see people's like friends number, like we all have that blocked now, but like, oh, I noticed you haven't, your friend, like friend's number hasn't gone up more. You haven't added people. Like, can I help walk you through that more? Like, can I help give you tips? And being hyper aware of where your newbies and your team may be struggling, and instead of like hoping they'll figure it out, because I know that is a big struggle I personally have. Like Courtney was saying, if someone would have held my hand when I was getting started, I would have flung them off. Like my enroller, I joined like 2 days after her, and I would message her, and then there would be like this hesitation, and then a couple minutes later she'd message me back, and I was like, dude, she's not answering me, someone else is. And I went and stalked her Facebook page to go find her enroller, Katie, and I was like, I just messaged her and I was like, look, I'm going through Abby and it's taking too long. I know you're answering me. Like, I'm just going to come straight to you. I don't have time for this. Like, I was going to make it happen. And it's so important to remember 90% of people aren't. 90% of people are not going to have that I'll do whatever it takes, I'll figure this out mentality. And so we get to be the difference. We get to be that part that like makes up the middle, and we get to be the ones who will do whatever it takes to help them figure it out. We get to be the problem solver to all of their problems and help out in any way we can. And like Courtney came back in and said, if you don't have those answers, if you don't know how to fix their problems, your upline does. And if your upline doesn't, her upline does. And so you're never alone in this. Whether you're starting your business, you don't have to feel alone. You have amazing resources all around you, people who love you, pray for you, and are rooting you on. But then as a leader as well, you have team there, you have leaders, you have sidelines who are also wanting to come alongside you to help you answer any questions, to help coach you through it, to love you, lead you, pray for you, everything that you could and in between. So remember that you're never in this alone. And we want to make sure that, I think that's one of the most important things, is to make sure our newbies feel that too. that they may have joined this for their goals, but they're now here for this family. And this family is going to love them. They're going to pray for them. They're going to encourage them when it gets hard. We're going to be there to support them completely through it. And I think that is so important, and to reinforce and remember that we're all in this together, as the amazing words of High School Musical. But so I think that's the end of it. I don't see any more questions. So I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording.